Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and tonight I'm joined by Derek.
Hi, how are you guys?
Tonight we are starting the 2006 to 2007 My Network telenovela, Wicked Wicked Games. That's a mouthful. So we're discussing the first 5 episodes, so I'll roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So something I noticed with these telenovelas is they give a lot away in their 2-minute preview of everything that's going to happen
That was
throughout
the
the whole
first thing
season.
I was gonna say too. The whole thing was given away in the first 2 minutes. I'm like, "What is going on?" And I never saw the first episode. I think I told you I watched the whole I think I started in, episode 15 or something like that when it originally aired,
Okay.
but it was like, "Wow, this whole thing is" they pretty much laid it all out there.
Yeah. But I also don't remember anything that happened in that because I just feel like I was so into each episode that I forgot that
Yeah, I get that.
um so our leading lady, I guess, is Tatum O'Neal, who plays Blythe.
Yes.
A very unique name for a more modern show. Well,
Mhm.
now it's almost 20 years old, but
Yeah.
back then.
And did you catch she said Blythe, means happy and she's a happy hunter?
Yes. She plays crazy really well, or
Taylor
unhinged.
O'Neal is a fantastic actress. I mean, she's so good.
Um, so I'm gathering this is all because she got broken up with and she got her heart broken. That's the
Well,
root of all
5
this.
years ago, Theo left her to marry his wife who died,
Yeah,
um, and then, I guess she married somebody else, whoever the father of the twins is, Aaron and, uh,
right. So
Josh, yeah.
so she has 2 twin boys.
Yeah,
They look nothing alike.
no.
Um, um, so yeah, another detail that I heard throughout the week was that she died after they were only married for 2 years. So what I'm gathering is she must have had money, and because she owned
Mhm.
the her family owned the racetrack.
Yes.
So he basically picked the rich girl.
Correct, yes. You'll find more about that as the show goes on, but yes.
I think I've started this before. I didn't really remember too much of what happened. I think I only made it to episode 10 or 12.
Okay.
But so the next batch of episodes will probably be a little
Mhm.
easy for me.
Yeah.
um so yeah, so let me look at my notes so we can kind of talk in chronological order.
Mhm.
Um so yeah, so Theodore runs the racetrack that I guess he
Mhm.
inherited after his wife died. And
Right.
his daughter Emma kind of helps out.
Yeah, she is, the training coordinator, I believe.
Hmm.
Kinda what I was the impression I got from, the first 5 episodes was that's
Right.
kinda her job. She trains, and she went into this whole thing with to Josh about her job, and I can't remember it, but it was
Every time I saw her, I don't know how you feel about this, but she reminds me of Kate Hudson. Every time I saw her, I'm just like, she
yes,
looks
a
like Kate
little bit. I
Hudson.
can see that. See that. But she
um,
was also on Desire, though. I don't know if you knew that. She was
oh, I gave up on Desire. I tried
I
watching
didn't
it.
watch either, but, I watched I didn't like Desire at all, but I watched maybe the first 5 and then I was out, but, she was on that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few of them are in multiple telenovelas. I
Mhm.
noticed.
Yeah.
Um, our leading man, Theo, is actually from Sunset Beach. He was like the leading man.
Huge
Dancer.
Sunset Beach fan here.
Oh my
That's
god.
probably my favorite soap of all time, so when I saw him in the show, that was probably the reason why I watched it, was to see.
Mhm. And then, well, not to go too off topic, the actor that played Antonio on Sunset Beach is in Saints and Sinners,
Yes.
which is yeah.
I didn't see that, but I haven't
I
watched
didn't either. I started another one I started. There's
Yeah,
just too many shows, I can't keep up with them all.
yeah.
Um, so Aaron has an MBA apparently. I got that more towards the end of the week. I thought he was just kind of
Does he
like
really have an MBA, or is that just something he cooked up so he could get this job? That's kinda my what I was wondering.
that's right, because Blythe did come up with a new birth certificate, new social
And new
security.
resume, all
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
maybe he doesn't have an MBA, but he is very smart, so he can keep up with this job. So maybe he
So
does.
the beginnings of her plan is she wants him to get a job at the racetrack,
Right.
seduce one of the daughters. At this point, she says, "Pick whichever one."
Mhm.
Um, Marry them, and then they're gonna take all their money, I guess, in a divorce and take over the company?
I think that's definitely part of the plan. I think the first part of the plan is take the business and then take the daughters and then take everything else and you know.
Yeah, so he sets his sights on Brooke, who is the younger sister, and she's more of a
Yes.
partier. She doesn't really have, like, a direction at the
No.
moment. Much to Theo's dismay, he wants her to go to college, have a career path, do something.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but we find out later that she's not the one that's inheriting everything, it's Emma.
Yeah, that was funny. It's like, "You're seducing the wrong sister." I was like, "What difference does it make?" "Oh, he's getting all the money. Okay."
Yeah. Well, she said she wants both her sons to marry both his daughters.
Yeah, which was kinda weird, you
Right.
know? It's like, what like, I wonder if there's more to it than that, but I kinda know because I watched the whole show, but it it's just like, what was her thinking on that? Like, did she really think that was, like, possible? Like, it's very hard that's very unfeasible.
So, something I'm wondering, don't spoil it,
No, I
at
won't.
her Blythe's whole talking into the webcam,
Uh-huh.
I know it's for the audience's benefit because that's kinda like narration for the episodes,
Yes, yes.
but I'm wondering if it's, like, a thing, like, that's gonna mean something later on in the series or towards the end.
I will not give it away, but, I will say this, I feel like that's very ahead of its time because
Mhm.
I think this was, like, 2006, like, people weren't really doing that kinda stuff. Like,
Yeah,
social media, like having a record or a blog or whatever they call it now.
yeah.
I mean, I think that it was really like a great element to the show
Mhm.
because you really can see like throughout like how devious she really is and how
Yeah.
like, wicked, I guess she really is.
Um, we also have an echoing theme of her saying Josh is just a pawn.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
that's
mean,
her doctor son who's the good one.
well, Josh is the good one, so he's very hard to manipulate. Get manipulate into this plan of hers. So they kind of have to keep him out of it and just kind of be. He has to be the pawn.
Right. Um, so Aaron, whose alias is Daniel, I didn't know what to call him in my notes, so I just called him by like his real name, Aaron.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
um, he pretends to run into Brooke on the beach as a
Mhm.
surfer,
Yes.
and he basically calls her a poser, and she's like, "I'm not gonna let some guy call me a poser," and she like challenges him to a surf match.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And they flirt. This is
Mhm.
before Blythe finds out that she's
Mhm.
not getting anything.
Right.
And then he has to shift focus. But he brings Josh to a bar
Mhm.
to meet, I guess, her friend. I can't remember the
Carrie.
friend's
Yes.
name. Yeah.
Carrie. Mhm.
And they have no chemistry whatsoever.
No.
She's kind of into it when she finds out he's a doctor,
Yeah,
which I
but
call foul on the whole age and him being a doctor, but whatever. um, but yeah, so then Aaron basically has to pretend like he was never into
that
Brooke.
was hilarious. I thought that was so funny. It's, like, very clear that he's completely attracted to her and then she did a little thing with the ice, and then she did another thing with her mouth later on, and
It
he
was
was,
like
like,
a
clearly
cherry or
turned on.
something.
Yeah, he was, like, clearly turned on, and it was just so funny to be like, "No, I'm not interested in you."
um, so Aaron goes to a poker game that he knows that Theo's gonna be at,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna guess he lost on purpose.
Oh, yeah. I think that was all part of the plan, like, Blake probably coached him.
Yeah. Um, Plus I'm sure he's done this before. I
Yeah.
just feel it. And they get to talking, and Theo's like, "Oh, let me buy you a drink with your money."
Right, right.
And they talk about business, and he basically offers him a job, but he wants to continue the conversation over dinner So he
Right.
invites him to the house,
Mhm.
um, where things go well, and he gets the job offer, and as he's about to leave, Brooke comes home, and they pretend like they've never met.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Um,
I really thought Brooke was like I'd never seen this episode before, so I really thought Brooke was gonna like be like, "Oh, I met him the other day" or whatever. But no, she was like, "No, I'm just pretending like she never met him."
did you ever watch One Tree Hill?
I dabbled in it. I never actually watched the whole thing.
Okay. So I know the actress that plays Brooke, her name is Kate French.
Mhm.
A year or 2 maybe after this, she had, like, a recurring role on One Tree Hill,
Oh,
so that's
okay.
where
I
I knew
whatever
her
happened.
from first.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, um, okay, so what else happened? Oh, I put Emma is with Edward, who I think is the lawyer,
Yes.
um, and at first, he just looks like he's very about work, he's always late for dinner,
Yeah.
um, he's always working at their dinners.
Yeah, he's a jealous one right there. I don't know what episode it was where he was like, "You only come talk to me about like when you're upset," and I'm just like, "What?"
Um, but in the first episode, she gets stood up for dinner.
Yes.
And this
Mhm.
is where Aaron sees her and wait, what did he do? She gets stood up at a restaurant. Oh, he invited Josh to dinner. And
Yes.
then, because this is when he's still trying to push them together.
Right. 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 Mhm.
And he like spies from a corner in the restaurant and says that he got like a flat tire or something and he can't make
Yeah,
it.
and he kind of set them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Little did he know that they actually had organic chemistry.
Yeah.
um
And Josh is like head over heels already. It's so funny.
um Hope is the house manager, I guess that's her
Yes,
title.
and she basically raised Emma and Brooke when their mother died.
Which is why I think it's funny that she thinks that the girls will have a problem if she's, like, romantically involved with their father, because they think of her as
That
a
I
mother
didn't
to him.
understand because when started watching the show, I thought they were a couple. I
Mhm.
didn't know that, like, they were keeping it under wraps or,
Right.
like, anything like that, so that kinda confused me because I thought they were already together when the show started, so that was
Mm.
interesting for me to find out.
Um, it's gonna be Emma's 25th birthday, and they're
Mhm,
throwing her a masquerade party.
mhm.
Um, this is where we find out, Theo has a sister, Madeline,
Yes.
and I put she has an online boyfriend.
Yeah, 2006.
Yeah.
I wanna know where she met this guy,
Yeah,
like,
me too, like
message board or, like, a chat room? Like, I really wanna know.
yeah, I'm like, "Do you" I don't know if she even knows what he looks like.
Yeah. No, she says she's in love with him, she's never even met him, like
He's not going to the masquerade party because he can't go with her. She's like, "I'm already working you into my life." I'm like, "What?" He
that
lives
was
across the
I was
world.
like, "What?" I had the same reaction.
And she also seems to be very, she reads tarot cards. I don't know what
Yes.
else she does. I don't know if
Very,
she's psychic.
mhm.
Um, but she seems to be close with Hope. Hope seems to go to her with her
Yeah,
concerns
that's
regarding her relationship.
for yeah, throughout the show, yeah.
Yeah. Um, oh, and then I put Edward is having an affair with Theo's secretary.
Yes, Jennifer.
'Cause they hook up
In the barn,
in
is
the
it or
barn or
the
something, yeah.
Eagle Hand or whatever that's called.
And Blythe goes to the party, and she kinda gets Theo's attention.
Yeah.
She doesn't reveal herself at first, though, not in that was,
I
like, the
thought it was so
part.
funny, like, all the little masquerades they had and, like, in TV how they can't like, people are like, "Oh, they can't tell who it is," but it's like, you can tell who it is.
Right. You don't know people's voices, like, you can't
Yeah,
tell who
you don't know people's
you're
voices.
talking to. I love masquerade parties on TV shows. I feel like everybody always looks
Yeah.
great.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So Blythe flirts with Theo, and she gives him little hints here and there to who she
Mhm.
is,
Right.
and then she eventually removes her mask.
Mhm.
And Theo apologizes for how things ended between them, and she's like, "Oh, it's water under the bridge. It's been 25 years."
Yeah.
Actually, I think he says it's been 20 and, like, 'cause she crazy. She's like, "25, but who's counting?"
Right, right, right. Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but Hope is already jealous, like, off the bat. She sees
Yeah,
them
she's watching them,
walking.
and it's
Yeah.
like, "Hmm,
And she talks to Madeline about it,
mm,
and Madeline's like, "Blythe?" She's like
what was
she wasn't even a blip on his radar, like, that was like a nothing
I
relationship.
wanna know, like, why Theo wasn't suspicious that she was there. Like,
Right.
he hasn't seen her in, what, 25 years, and all of a sudden she shows up at his daughter's birthday party. Like, just a little odd.
She's like, "I read your wife died," and he's like, "Yeah, 2 years after we were married." That's how we found that out.
Uh,
Um, and
right.
she's and he's like, "I think I read you got married." I'm like, "I guess wedding announcements were still a thing? Like, why are people reading like, are
Well, I
you"
mean, that would be in the '80s, so I guess that was probably the case.
Oh, that's true, I forgot we have to go 25 years back from
Yeah,
2006.
yeah.
Um, Aaron asked Josh to prescribe him sleeping pills because he just needs, like, 2 nights sleep, he said,
Yeah. Mhm,
and I wasn't sure where he was going with this.
mhm,
Um, he does, and he
mhm.
says if, you still can't sleep and you come here for a checkup, whatever. His mother also pays him visits here and there, saying she has migraines.
Yeah. And she's all smiling.
Um, so Aaron ends up chloroforming the, stable guy.
Mhm.
I kept putting Vladimir because 'cause I'm like, they're not saying Voldemort because Voldemort made me think of Harry Potter.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, not I'm not really into Harry Potter, but I know that it's, like, a name associated with it. But that
Mhm.
was his name, Voldemort, because 'cause I'm like, "Alright, if you"
Right.
but autocorrect says Vladimir. He injects him, I guess he liquefied the sleeping pills to
Mhm.
inject him with.
Yeah, and didn't he take a second prescription? I wonder what that was for. He
Yeah, he called after he got the prescription, he called a pharmacy to make sure they had it.
Right, but when he was in the office with Josh, he took a second, like, blank one.
Oh, did he? I
Yeah,
didn't notice
and I
that.
was wondering what that was for, but, like, I don't think we got the answer to that yet.
Oh, I must have looked down to take notes and missed that part.
Yeah.
That's why I should just watch it and then, like, write what I remember after.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he chloroforms him and injects him with whatever drug he has.
Lorazepam is what, they said, I believe.
Oh, okay. And he releases the prize-winning horse.
Mhm. Right,
Um, Meanwhile, Theo is trying to get a well-known, prize horse owner to lodge his horses at the Tides, which is the name of the track.
right.
And he gives him a tour, and they find Vladimir unconscious, and they think that he's drunk.
Yeah, that was funny.
He's like, "I don't drink. I haven't drank in 9 years." And of course, the person that they're trying to get to use the Tides freaks out and is like, "I'm not housing my horses here," and he leaves.
Mhm,
Um, Theo wants Aaron to work on a new security system for the Tides because apparently it has been updated since the 70s.
mhm.
Um, the detective comes the detective comes later with the results that he was drugged, so they have that. So now Theo knows that somebody's trying to ruin him somehow.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, I guess we should talk about like the financial status of the Tides.
Yeah, mhm.
Apparently, they're in the red.
Right.
Um, and Aaron comes up with an idea to save the Tides.
Mhm,
I thought he was gonna mention going public,
mhm.
which is something that Taylor or Tyler,
Taylor, yeah.
the CFO,
He
tried to.
suggested in, like, the first episode or second
Yeah.
that they
So I thought he was also going to suggest it, but no.
Right.
He mentions like maybe a casino,
Mhm.
and Tyler doesn't like that.
No, not at
He feels like
all.
it's trashy, and he's like, "Poker's all the rage," and I'm like, "Oh my god." He's like, "People have like could just stay at home and it's at their fingertips on their laptop," and I'm like, "Wow, this
Yeah.
was all so new." Um, Also, did you notice the Razor cell phones? I
Yes. Oh,
was
yeah.
like, "Oh, I had that phone."
I definitely had that phone.
So this was like pre-smartphones, like, by a year or 2.
Mhm.
Um, Theo seems receptive to the the casino idea.
Mhm.
Um,
And he also said something about a line of credit, being
mhm,
tied as collateral. So that I think is,
yes.
like, something that, like, they have no money, so I guess, like, he's gotta, put everything on the line just to make this work.
Well, Blythe has been conveniently running into Theo,
Yeah.
and I wonder if somehow she's gonna offer a line of credit so that she
Mm,
could call in the loan if she wanted to.
you're on the right track, but I'm not gonna say
Well, don't answer if you know, because I have to see
Okay, okay.
it. Um,
Mm,
so Josh tells Aaron that he's interested in Emma, and he's like,
mhm.
she's with somebody. You can't, like, he's trying to deter him from being with her.
Right, right.
He's like, so what? She's not married. And he's like, that's my boss's daughter. And he's like, so is Brooke. And he's
Right,
like, yeah,
right,
but I
right.
actually like work with her.
Yeah.
um,
I love in that scene where he finally is like, "Well, Brooke, you're like my boss's daughter. I can't get involved with you." It's like, why are you telling her?
um, but Josh also brings up a good point. He's like, as far as they know, we're not brothers.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I was like, ooh, he got you there. Um, um, Blythe goes to the tides for a drink, and Theo sits with her.
Mhm,
They discuss how they left. Oh, they discuss how he left her for the woman whose family owned the tides back then.
mhm,
They toast to new beginnings and homecomings,
mhm.
and she kisses him on the cheek, which leaves lipstick.
Yes, that was hilarious. Round 1, Blythe Hunter.
um, so Theo comes home to a worried-looking Hope. I forgot her
Mhm.
name for a second. Um, who
Girl
just
from Home
looks
Improvement, I
really
didn't realize that was
suspicious.
her. She was on
It,
Home Debbie Dunning, the girl who plays Hope. She was the full-time girl.
that's where I know her from. Okay,
Yes.
okay. I'm like, she looks so familiar, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen her in anything.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's been bugging me for like 20 years. Unconsciously. Um, so she looks twisted, but she's been suspicious ever since the masquerade party.
Yeah.
And he said that he
So she's
was,
worried about Emma and Brooke, and I'm like, "She's totally lying. She's waiting up for him."
yeah. And he, oh, he says that he was going over business strategies with Daniel, Aaron.
Right. Which
Um,
he was earlier, but not you know.
I didn't see. I watched some of the episodes on my phone, so I
Mhm.
didn't see the lipstick until it was brought up. I was like, oh, that's why she looked pissed.
Oh, it was very visible. Yeah.
Yes. um, yeah. So Emma is already having erotic dreams about being with Josh. And but she's just brushing it off because she's like, I'm in a relationship.
Right, she's like, "I'm with Ever, it doesn't matter."
But meanwhile, she's like picking out outfits knowing she's gonna run into him at the hospital because she volunteers for something at the hospital.
Yeah, yes. Mhm,
And of course she does run into him.
mhm.
Um, Blythe even pays Josh a visit and she's like, don't go after your brother's girlfriend.
Right, right.
Or don't go after her, go
Exactly.
after Brooke.
Yeah,
Um, which is funny because apparently the twins were not talking at the beginning of the series because Aaron slept with Josh's girlfriend.
yes.
Yeah. So, oh, so then, like you mentioned, Edward, who's cheating,
Yeah,
gets jealous when he sees Aaron comforting
Emma.
Emma,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Do you have pockets?" He's like,
Yeah,
"Next time,
that's right.
keep your hands in your pockets and off of my girlfriend."
Yeah.
Um, I remember the secretary
Mhm.
being more devious. I did see a little bit of her.
Which one? Jennifer?
Is that her name? The blonde, the one that
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like sleeping with.
yeah. Mhm. I wasn't sure if you're referring to her or our Blythe secretary.
Oh, she Blythe
Yeah, her secretary,
treats
Lonnie.
her like shit.
Oh, yeah. She really does.
Blythe also, I think, is sleeping with her lawyer
Yes. Mhm.
because he gets her some papers that basically show her that Theo is broke. Like he has no other like savings or
She definitely has a hold over him, like, 'cause, I think one of the earlier scenes, she was, like, kinda, like, mentioning, like, some transactions that she can make public if he doesn't go along
yeah.
with the plan or whatever, so something's up with that.
Yeah, like tax fraud or something like that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But the reason why I think they're sleeping together is because he bought her a present, and from what we could see, it kind of looked like dirty lingerie, and she looked like she was into it. So maybe they sleep together.
I yeah, I for sure.
But yeah, so Theo's basically broke. He doesn't have any like
Mm,
anything stockpiled away for the girls to inherit when he dies.
right.
Basically, it's the tides. Um, and I'm sure I'm missing a few other things, but we ended with not Josh, Aaron giving Emma a massage,
Oh, yeah.
and Brooke had gone to see her aunt who started reading her tarot cards, and before she could finish reading the tarot cards, she was like, "Nope, I'm going with my gut. I'm going after
Yeah. I'm going after Aaron, yeah.
Daniel."
Yeah, Daniel.
So she goes to the office, and of course, she walks in and sees him massaging her sister. And he's like looking at her. Emma's into it and has her eyes closed, and she throws a glass or a vase or something against
Something,
the
yeah.
wall.
So dramatic.
And that's how the week ended.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I may have missed something in that last episode, though. Did I? Was there anything you remember that I missed?
Mm, well, they were working towards figuring out what happened with the whole Valdemar thing. They were gonna get a sketch artist to,
Right.
yeah,
Because yeah, right. Yes, that was a big thing because he started to remember there was somebody there.
yes, mhm,
And he knew like the hair, and he was a white
right,
guy. And I'm like, okay, they're gonna sketch this, and it's gonna look just like Daniel.
right, right.
And is everybody gonna be like, he looks familiar, but I don't know. Like,
Right. Keep in mind also Josh was there that day and he saw him with Emma, so maybe that
Hmm.
will come into play a little bit. I'm not gonna say whether it will, but that's
That's interesting.
yeah.
I do. I feel like how they kind of fill time is with like the flashy shots and like
Mhm,
the cutaways of with Blythe
mhm,
laughing and her little conversations with the webcam.
yeah. It's
But
funny because there was, in I think probably the last episode 5, there was a flash of scenes when she did her vlog of, like, things that happened in the future, and 'cause I know because I watched the show and I was like, "Oh my god, they really, like, gave that away in, like, a split second that you would never be able to tell if you didn't
really,
see the show." Yeah.
something I also don't really like is when they show the title of the episode, they
Yeah.
show scenes from the episode in the background of
Right.
it, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah, they do
"Stop,
that.
you're giving too much away."
Yeah, they do give a lot away,
But I
especially in
guess, like, once you start watching, you kinda forget about it. Like I said, I don't even
you
remember
do,
what the
because there's a
2-minute
lot
preview
more
was.
details involved and, like, it's like, okay, kinda wanna know, like, what the whole story is.
Right. I mean, I guess they do it to hook people.
Yeah.
You're like, "Ooh, what's that
Probably
about?"
did in 2006, but
Yeah. But, yeah, so far, so good. I like it. I know
mhm.
you
Yeah,
like it. You've seen the rest of it.
yeah. I mean, it's probably the only one on the telenovela spectrum, though, the My Network TVs that I actually really enjoyed watching. That was a good one. I like we talked about Satan Sinners earlier. I didn't watch that. There was another one. It was like Watch Over Me. Do you remember that one? I didn't get into that.
I only recently found out about that one. I didn't never even heard of it.
Yeah.
Um, when I found out that all of these were on Tubi, I
Mhm.
kinda dipped into most of them
Mhm.
a few years ago, but I just never continued. Like, I
Mhm.
started American Heiress because there's a few actors on there that I know, and I kinda like that one.
Mhm.
I started Saints and Sinners, and from the 2 episodes I watched, I liked it.
Is
Um,
American Heiress the one with, the girl from General Hospital? What was
yes.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. I have not seen that either, but
I actually watched most of Fashion House, and I like it, but it's very flashback heavy,
mhm.
and they even devote full episodes to, like, a character, and they basically just show you every scene that character has had up to that point.
Okay, okay,
I
gotcha.
don't know if they got rid of that concept as they went forward with the other telenovelas.
Right.
Like, there'd be, like, a minute of, like, new footage, and then the rest would just be, like, a recap episode.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Um,
I think they had a recap episode of Wiki Wiki Games on Saturdays, and that's kinda how I caught up when I
oh,
first
okay.
started watching. I would watch the recap episode on Saturdays, and I'd be like, "Okay, I kinda know what's going on."
Hmm. See, I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah. It's funny, I had to set my DVR because I was working when the show was on, and I would watch
Oh,
it. I think I was home one night, and it was just on TV, and I just started watching. I was like, "Oh, this is kinda good," and I just kept watching it.
that was probably the early days of DVRs and TiVo.
Yes.
Well, do you have anything else to add before I wrap this up?
Um, just I just think that let's talk about the casting a little bit. Uh,
Okay.
what do you think about, I mean, I like Clive Robinson, but he looks way too young to be playing Theodore. I think, like, he was just, he was probably, what, in his 30s? Maybe late 30s at the time?
No, he
You
had
think
a
he's older?
yeah, I think he was almost in his 30s or 30 when he did Sunset Beach.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I'm thinking he was in his, like, mid-20s when he was in such a big.
Really?
Yeah, I'm wrong.
Maybe he was 28 when he did Sunset Beach.
Yeah, I mean, he was with, Meg, so she was younger,
Yeah.
so I guess that was, you know. Maybe I always thought he was younger, but yeah, I guess me.
Um, yeah, like I said, the sons don't look anything alike.
No.
Um, the one that plays Aaron Daniel, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
Josh feels like he was casted because he was pretty.
yeah, and he was on Passions. I don't know if you remember
Oh,
that.
was he?
Yeah, he wasn't on it for, like, long, maybe, like, a year or 2, but, like, he played, the long lost son of Grace. I don't.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
with that oh,
with that con
right.
man or whatever.
David, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, wow, I never knew that. Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I mean, Passions I watched maybe, like, on and off, but, like, yeah, that I was watching when he was on that, but yeah.
My grandmother used to watch Another World, and
Mhm.
Passions came on in the spot that Another World used to be,
Oh,
so she kinda just watched it out of habit of watching a soap at that time.
really? I
But
bet you
she saw more Passions than I did.
yeah. And then you said Kate French was on One Tree Hill, but, I thought she was good, like, she plays the spoiled little, you know, immature, 23-year-old pretty well.
Yeah. Emma, I like I said, I think she's great. Sh Like I
Yeah.
said, she reminds me of Kate Hudson. Every
Mhm.
time I see her, I'm like, "Oh, hi, Kate."
Yeah.
Um, her and Josh do have chemistry.
Yeah, for sure. Mhm.
Um, we've met every character, right? That's in the
Not yet.
not yet?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
There's a few we have not met yet. There's a couple. I mean, Violet's sister is coming up. Oh no, not Violet. Lonnie's sister, Violet, is coming up.
Oh, okay.
And then there's someone else. Can't think of who it is, but yeah.
I almost and you know this because you've seen it, but I almost wonder if this online boyfriend is just another part of Blythe's plan, and he's, like, working for her.
Mm,
I just feel like she has, like, her hand in every, like,
she
pot.
has her hand in a lot of things. Let's just put it that way. More than we know yet.
Yeah, that's why I don't trust this online boyfriend, because why don't we know what he looks like?
Mhm. Yeah.
It feels like a cautionary tale.
Yes, for sure. Um, but yeah, getting back to the casting, I mean, Tatum O'Neal is just like, so good. Like, I think she really nails this character. She's, you know,
This is the first, I think, adult role I've ever seen her in. I've only ever seen her
Mhm.
as, like, a child actor.
Yeah, I can. This is probably the first time I ever saw her in a series, and she does a great job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like every one of these had, like, they're, like, I don't wanna, like, degrade her by saying she's, like, a B actress, but,
Mhm.
like, Morgan Fairchild was on Fashion House with Bo Derek.
Mhm.
So I feel like, each one had, like, their woman that had some
Right.
kinda notoriety to it.
I would say their '80s actress with no variety is kind of how they brought
Okay.
people in.
Okay. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this week.
Yeah. Mhm.
Alright, well, thank you for joining us for our first
Oh,
episode covering Wicked Wicked Games.
oh,
As
you're
always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. Until next time, have a great night. Bye.
welcome.